Are we live? All right, cool. Hi guys, welcome to class. This episode is really fun and special because it is for Valentine's Day coming up, and I wanted to make sure I did it early enough for you all to kind of get the hang of this makeup style in time for Valentine's Day. And I know there's a lot of tutorials out there and everyone has their own little take on what they like for Valentine's Day. And personally, I really love a really soft kind of a vintagey, rosy, kind of a dusty look. And I really love going soft with the overall look for Valentine's Day, especially because most of the guys that I know don't love a whole lot of crazy heavy makeup that I like. So they're, the guys that I know would prefer something a little bit more me rather than going full glam with glitter and a double cut crease and things like that. Although I may love those things, for Valentine's Day, I think I would like to look in a way that my husband would really appreciate and love, and look like myself and not transform too much. Because after all, if you do have a Valentine, they fell in love with you for you, and you may not want to always transform yourself every day, or especially on the days that you're going to be with them. So I like to go a little bit more conservative on Valentine's Day. And for the rest of you out there, looking for this look for bridal or something like that, I think it's really great for bridal. It's a really romantic, soft, sophisticated, and feminine look, which I love doing for my brides. And personally, I like to do this look for myself as often as possible. It's kind of like my go-to signature look for me. I know you guys aren't used to seeing me looking all crazy unless I'm at a trade show or something like that, but even then, I very rarely go too dramatic on myself. I like to go a little bit softer. So here we go. We're just going to go ahead and get started. I want you guys to follow along step by step. If you guys have been members for a while, you guys are probably ready to kind of learn along with me right now. But if you guys are new here and this is your first class that you're watching, I usually recommend watching this one live, writing down all your notes, and then once you feel more comfortable and have the right products, you can re-watch this class once it's uploaded, and then watch it as many times as you want, of course, over the next 30 days. And then you can perfect the techniques. And of course, what I always love to ask is, make sure when you're posting about it on Instagram, make sure you're hashtagging Dress Your Face Live and DYFL Army. Those are my two Dress Your Face Live hashtags, and I love to go through and see your progress, and I want to know what your requests are, and I want to know what you loved about class. So throughout this class, if you want to make a collage of the different steps that I've done, or if you want to post any screenshots from today's class, what I would recommend is posting it on Instagram using my hashtag, but also let that be an opportunity for you to tell me what you would like to learn next time. So tell me what your favorite part about class was, and also tell me what you want to learn in one of your next classes with me. So I love to hear your requests. So that way I'll make sure I go through the hashtag and see your requests. And also, of course, it does help if your profile is not private. Otherwise, I'm not going to see it if it's private. So if it's not private and it's public, that means I will get to see your profile, I will get to see your pictures, I'll see the hashtag, and I'll see your messages from me too. So let's go ahead and get started. I have just prepped my face with a little bit of foundation. I'm going to tell you right now which foundation I use. I love Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer. Now, this stuff is really amazing. It's something that is very full coverage, and to be honest, you can totally dilute it with your moisturizer or a primer to get it to look like a more sheer coverage. But personally, you guys know me, I love a full coverage face, so I just go ham with this particular product. I'm going to demonstrate how I put it on right now, so you guys can take a look at my technique. Basically, because I'm only using it on myself, I don't really use this on clients, I'm dipping in with my brush, and I'm just literally pressing it into my skin. And that way, I'm making sure that it's pressing into my pores and looking really fabulous and even. As far as the brush that I like to use, This is the brush that I like to use on myself for like thick product and stippling. This is the G9 brush from Morphe. And Morphe brushes, I do have a discount code. It's just DYF. So if you go to Morphe Brushes store or online, morphebrushes.com, pick out whatever you want. All the products are already super discounted, great deals, but you will get a higher discount and a better deal when you use my code DYF on any of the Morphe brushes that I'm using today. So again, I like to just dip in the product and press it right into my skin and give myself a very even application. And I do like to just kind of swish it right over my eyelid because this is such a full coverage product. It kind of acts as my eyeshadow base as well, and it acts as my concealer because it's so full coverage and amazing. So now that I have it like all over, it's looking very flawless and even, I'm going to show you how to do contour. So for those of you, again, who have been on my class and know how I contour and love how I contour, there's so many different ways to do it. And I don't want you to feel like, oh, my way is the only right way. There's so many ways to do it, and it really truly depends on your face shape. But for Valentine's Day, I thought it would be really cute to do a heart contouring technique. This is just using heart shapes around your face. I think it's so cute and fun. You guys saw it in my video and you loved it. So I'll just kind of show you how I came up with those, you know, the way I did it, and hopefully you guys can follow along, but this is not the way I normally contour. I normally don't even contour with pink. I only do highlight and contour without the blush part when I'm contouring my face, and I'm very quick with it. I'm not precise with the lines at all. I just, you know, when you're blending, it doesn't matter how precise the lines are, but I just want to show you what I did for the video because it's really cute and fun. So I'm going to start off with my highlight product, which is Creamy Beige from LA Girl. This is LA Girl Pro Conceal. It's their HD concealer. And what I'm doing is I'm putting some on the back of my hand here. And I'm going to use the brush as my brush. And I'm going to start off by just kind of brightening up around my cheekbone. Again, for those of you who just logged in, I will be showing you every step and listing all the brushes and the products I'm using, but keeping in mind that this isn't how I contour every day. This is just for Valentine's Day. It's just fun and cute. So here we go. I'm just highlighting around my eye area, and now I'm going to highlight the T-zone. So right down the bridge of my nose. And the cool thing about this product is that when you smash the brush and use it kind of flat, that's the perfect width for that highlight of your nose. Okay, so now I'm going to start the heart-shaped thing. This is going to look really fun. So we're going to draw a little bit of a heart on the middle of my forehead, and normally I just kind of fan it out, but in this case I'm going to make a little V here and kind of complete a heart shape right on the center of my forehead. So making sure that it's nice and bright. So that it just doesn't disappear. And I think it's so cute. I would love for you guys to actually do this on yourselves and then hashtag Dress Your Face Live, or say I learned this on Dress Your Face Live, heart-shaped contouring, and you can hashtag heart contour. Or you can even show me your own versions of it, and I can repost some of my favorite recreations. I would love to repost your guys' work on my page. I'm already so proud of everything that you've accomplished since joining my classes. I'm absolutely willing to share your work with the world. So here's the heart on the forehead. I hope you guys can see this clearly. I know it's like, let me back up maybe. Yeah, okay. So every time I make a shape, I'm gonna back up so you guys can, like, you know, see the color, because I know these lights are really bright. By the way, we're shooting through the mirror, and this mirror is from Impressions Vanity, I think. Impressions, yeah. You can look them up on Instagram. So here's the line going down. Now I'm gonna make a heart on my upper lip. That's gonna highlight my Cupid's bow. Okay, back it up, you guys can see it now. Okay, great. All right, so now that I've done that one, I can do a little heart on my chin, just to highlight my chin. This is too cute. I never really get to do stuff like this, but for themed classes, it's just so much fun. Okay, so now we have the heart on the chin, and pretty much that's it. That's all the places that I really like to highlight on myself. Now we're gonna go into the contouring, and I'm gonna use the LA Girl Velvet Bronzer Contour Stick, and the color is Suede, this baby right here. So I'm gonna start off with the line going from the top of my ear towards the area in between my mouth and my nostril. So it just kind of goes in like that. Same on this side. So now we have our lines going. I'm also gonna do the temple zone just to get that nice three-dimensional effect there, and my jawline. Okay, and now I'm gonna switch over to LA Girl Pro Conceal in Beautiful Bronze. This is kind of my go-to staple product for contouring. Squeeze a little bit on the back of your hand. And I'm gonna start right on my brow area and follow a nice thin line all the way down the side of my highlight by my nose. Okay. And I just like to connect it close to the tip, just to keep my nose upturned and nice and sharp. You guys saw without the contouring, my nose has a kind of a wider shape in the middle, so I like to do like the lines very straight down the center of my nose. So now I can kind of create a whole new bridge. I love how you can literally change the whole shape of your face with the right contouring techniques. So now that that's done, I'm going to do right here, right under my nose, down to the point of the heart. And another fun thing, I think I still have lip stain on from earlier, it's not coming off, but I'm going to do a little bit of, I wonder if I can just cover this up a little bit. Let me see if I can do that. Cover up my lips, because it's so pink right now from the stain. Okay. So I'm going to now contour my mouth, and I'm going to do a little heart. And I'm going to fill in the rest of my lips with that. But leave out a little heart shape right in the center of the lips. I know it's really hard for you to see at this point because my lips kind of are already pigmented. But I'm filling in everything except for where I want to draw my heart, basically. Let me see what else. I think the only other thing that I would want to do is just to give my eyes a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to go in and just kind of contour along my crease. And I can even highlight a little bit on the bone, the brow bone. right in through there. I could even highlight along my eyelid, just to really get it to pop more, and therefore you get a really cool picture. This is really just for fun. So highlight there, and that's pretty much it. So now I'm going to show you the pink stuff, the fun pink stuff. So I'm going to go in, and I'm actually going to use a lipstick to do my cream blush on my lips. So the color that I'll be using is, let's see, it's actually a kind of an orangey pink. It's like a dusty pinkish orange color. So it depends on how pink you want to go. I like to go a little bit more orangey pink. So that color would be Ravishing from MAC. If you want to go more pink, then I would suggest using a color called Coral Bliss, which is like a corally pink up in here. And then I do have another option. Ooh, you know what? There's another color that I really like. Let me show you these actually. There's this color called Lovelorn from MAC. I think I actually want to use that for today's tutorial. It's this one here. This is Lovelorn. I'm going to tilt it so you guys can see a little bit more lighting on it. This is Lovelorn. So I think let's go ahead and use that. The other two were these. This is Ravishing, and then Coral Bliss was up here. But if you want to go more dusty rose, I would say Lovelorn would be a great choice. So let's just go ahead and use that. The brush I'm going to use is 195 from MAC. 195. So I'm just going to dip right in. Ooh, you know what? I just found another one that we could use. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm giving you like way too many options. Another one that I really like is Please Me. So if you want a creamier consistency, go for Lovelorn. And if you want a matte, which now I changed my mind, I think I'm going to go matte, I'm going to use Please Me. This one right here, which I love. So let's try Please Me for this one. Just so it's not so creamy. I love a matte look, so let's do that. So I'm going to draw a heart on my cheek now. And that's going to be my, where, you know, when you're smiling, the apple of your cheek, that's where you're going to make your heart. So I'm just going to kind of perfect my lines here. And I think this brush is really cool for that because it has a little bit of a tapered edging on the brush. Make sure the point is nice. Okay, can you guys see my heart? Okay, cool. We do the same on the other side. This is so fun. I know it's a little ridiculous. I so would not do this every day, but for the spirit of Valentine's Day, why not? This is way cute. Okay. Hearts are done over here. Now I'm going to do my lip heart. So, make the top of your heart on the top of your lip. The top lip, I mean. Just like that. Hopefully you guys can see clearly. And then make the tip of the heart like a V. Fill it in. Ta-da! Easy, easy, easy. With the right brushes, it's easy, but I don't see how this would be something you'd actually do all the time. So now you can see that. Trying to think what else we could do. I think this is it. I mean, this is all I would really do. This is all I kind of did for the video. And it was just, I just winged it. I started off with like my regular contour and just started kind of substituting shapes for hearts and saw where it got me. And I thought it was just the cutest thing in the world. And so here we go. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to pose for you if you do want to screenshot it so you know what to recreate in your guys' recreations. So I'm just going to pose for you and you guys can like see what to do here. I think what I would even do is add a little bit more of that highlight up in here. So I'm gonna pose for you guys. You can get your screenshots. So now that you got your screenshots and you know what to do with your recreation, it's gonna be like a contest. I'm just gonna choose my favorites and repost them. So hopefully you guys can get it really cool and fun on your first try and post it. Hashtag Just Your Face Live, hashtag Heart Contour, hashtag DYFL Army, and let everyone know that you learned this on Just Your Face Live, and I will choose my favorites and repost them on my page, probably on Valentine's Day. How fun would that be? Ooh, I love thinking of contests. Okay, cool. So now that we're done with this, it's time to blend. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask my beautiful assistant behind the camera to give me a pink beauty blender right behind you. Thank you. So here's a pink beauty blender, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start blending away. You can absolutely use brushes. I feel like it's Valentine's Day. I'm gonna use the pink beauty blender. So I'm gonna start off with all of my light areas first. So you could use either the tip. I like to use the tip of the beauty blender just to blend the skinny little tight areas of the highlight, but I like to use the back for blending the larger areas. So just push it into your skin, bouncing it around to get it to really just blend into your foundation layer. And then once you have that blended in, you can just make sure, maybe with the finger pad, to make sure that you can't see the edges of it. So going in through here, I have the nose bridge already done. Now I'm gonna go and start blending in the under eye. So I'm just pushing the product under my eye using the tip of the beauty blender. You could absolutely use a brush. If you were to use a brush, I would recommend the 130 brush from MAC, which looks like this, the 130. But for this fun class, since I am using a pink, I want it to be a little bit more precise with my blending. So either use a small brush or a beauty blender. I'm just gonna go ahead and blend in my under brow. I'm gonna blend in the lid, which will act as an awesome eyeshadow base for me for later. Ooh, my lashes. Alrighty, I'm gonna blend in the top part. I'm gonna blend in the chin heart. So basically all the areas that I did the highlight, I'm just blending in at this point. Now that I'm done with that, I'm just gonna lightly wipe off some extra product from my beauty blender just to make sure I'm not contaminating through colors while I blend in the contour areas. Another thing that I wanted to mention to you guys, I'm sure some of you might be asking this, is am I using my beauty blender damp or dry? If I do ever use a beauty blender, which is very rarely, but when I do use it, I use it dry because I don't want to dilute the consistency of my makeup. So I always use it dry. That's my personal choice. So now I'm going to blend in the contour. Making sure I'm not pressing too hard because I really don't want to ruin all my hard work with the foundation and stuff like that. Okay. Gonna literally just push it into the skin. Let it melt into your foundation layer. And with the jaw, that's where I kind of do more of a wiping action. Just because I don't want anyone to see the line there. Okay, now I'm going to use the tip of this to blend the side of my nose. And that little area right in there. I'm going to do the crease, but keep in mind with the beauty blender, you can't get too precise unless you use like a really mini one, and by then, like, if you have nails like mine, we can't use a small little beauty blender. We need a little bit of a handle. So I'm going to show you another brush that I really like when I blend my T-zone. Okay, and now I'm gonna just lightly blend the edges of the lips. I'm gonna leave the rest alone. Now using this part of my beauty blender, we're now gonna blend that lipstick to melt into the foundation as well. I'm normally not a fan of cream blushes, but this lipstick works so good. Again, it's a MAC lipstick called Please Me. It's a matte shade, so it's not going to add oils or shines into the skin. Unless you love a dewy look, then I would say Love Lauren is a great one because it is creamier, or you can use a sheer color instead if you really want it to be, you know, super glowy. So here's the brush that I was talking about, you guys. It's called Oval number 3 from MAC. Let me find it for you because I think that is a great brush to blend the sides of the nose. There it is. This is what it looks like. It's really cool. It's like a toothbrush. And so we're just going to blend the side of the nose a little bit more since the beauty blender I wasn't able to really get in there. So I'm blending it right into my crease like that. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to start blending my lips. What I do first is press them together and use my finger and blend that dusty rose color to mix with my contour shade, and it becomes this really gorgeous kind of a medium dusty rose / brown, and it's great for every day. But later on, I do want to show you the actual lipsticks that I would recommend, liquid lipsticks, to use for Valentine's Day. That's kiss proof, it dries, and it's perfect for your Valentine's Day date, or whatever you end up doing. Instead of this, because this is creamy, it's not going to last all day, so I definitely do want to show you that, but that's going to be a little bit later. For now, we are just going to go ahead and get started with the rest of the face. So before I even do all the setting with powders, I want to just wipe off my little oval brush here, and I want to make sure that my under eyes have no creasing. I just want it like perfect. So I'm just making sure my under eyes are not creased. No lines, nothing. It's looking really flawless. And any other areas that I want to do just a little bit more blending, I can do that. Okay, so at this point, I'm ready to start setting it with powders. So I'm going to use my, this is one of my favorite brushes that I use on myself. It's the Morphe 529 brush. Again, use my code DYF so you can save more money off of these. So this is the Morphe 529, and I'm going to use my Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit along with my MAC Studio Fix NC42 Powder Foundation in one. So these are going to be the two things that I'm going to really be setting with today. Ta-da! This is what it looks like. This is my custom contour kit. This is my MAC NC42. I'm going to tell you right now the colors that are in here. This is very valuable information, you guys. So I have banana, I have golden peach, I have l'orange, which is a great color for correcting, which we will use in the next class, next time. I have fawn, I have, oh my gosh, Havana, and I have carob. So those are my go-tos for medium skin tones mainly. Now I'm gonna mix banana and golden peach right on my brush here, and I'm going to use that to set my under eye. So it just mattifies my whole highlight section, and I'm going to go all the way into the side of the nose there. It's going to look a little crazy right now, but don't worry. As time goes, the oils of my skin is going to make the color look a little bit darker and blend in a little bit better with the rest of my face. So that is my highlight set right there. So again, golden peach mixed with banana, and I'm just setting it with a Morphe brush number 529, which I love so much for this step. in love with it. I know I look like a freak right now. I totally look like a clown. That's okay. It gets better once we start really bringing all of it together. So right now I'm just kind of setting all my highlight zones. We're going to do the same for right in here. Remember where that heart was. I'm just going to brighten the center of the forehead up with this lovely banana mixed with a little bit of golden peach. We're going to do a little bit on the chin. We're going to do a little bit above the lip. And I love to brighten up my laugh line area too, right in here. You guys see the groove right here? So I like to brighten that up as well. And lastly, with a smaller eyeshadow brush, for example, like the 239 from MAC, I'm going to go in with Golden Peach and Banana, and I'm just going to fill and set my highlight line on my nose. This is why it ends up looking so chiseled in my pictures, because of all this lovely highlighting. And if you want to just blend a little extra, you can absolutely blend a little extra here. And at this point, we're ready to set the rest of the face. So I'm going to go in the same brush. I'm going to go in with the NC42, which is a nice medium shade for me. And I'm going to set the edges of my forehead with this color, basically setting all the contour areas of my face with this shade. I'm also going to fill in my whole jaw section because I've not set that yet, so just want to make sure that there's at least some powder there so it doesn't move around. One thing I've noticed is that if I set some parts of my face and I skip other parts of my face, the parts that I've set end up kind of settling into the parts that I haven't set, and it just looks like a hot mess. So you want to make sure there's some powder at least everywhere on your face and not just be selective on where you're setting. And now I'm going to set the side of my nose with this color too. And making sure that everything just looks pretty even. So I'm just kind of rolling over whatever I've done to make sure that it all looks nice and even, nice and matte. And I think at this point, I'm ready to set my blush. So I'm going to put this brush away. I'm going to use my favorite blush brush from MAC. It is the 168, I believe. And the color that I show you here, the color that I'm using is called Well Dressed from MAC. It's this color right here. This is called Well Dressed. It's a beautiful frosty light pink. And this is the angled cheek brush. And this is what I'm going to use to set my blush. It's very pinky, very pretty. And it's going to stick really nicely to that cream blush. Where it wasn't even a cream blush, it was a lipstick. But works exactly the same way, basically. So now that my cheeks are very rosy, I'm going to go in with my highlights just to smooth everything out and give myself a great glow. So what I want to use at this point is the Give Me Glow from SalehaBeauty.com. Saleha Beauty also has given us a coupon code for my followers. It's DYF15 on SalehaBeauty.com. Again, it's DYF15. And look at the detail on this. It's, well, I've used the crap out of it, but you can probably see the sides. It has like this lace imprint. It's just, oh, so heavenly and beautiful. So I'm going to use my Makeup Forever foundation brush number 108. Makeup Forever 108. And I'm going to go right into this shimmer product. And I'm going to press it into my cheekbones. And now you can see that really amazing flash of light here. And I'm going to bring it in, like, you know when you're smiling, basically the top of your smile should all be lit. And now I'm going to go back to my blush brush here and just kind of press in the edges so that it really blends into the blush nicely. Again, this is the 108 brush from Makeup Forever. And I'm just giving myself a little bit of that highlight glow here and using my blush brush to blend in to my blush. And you can also use your fingertips to make sure that everything looks nice and smooth and even for your look. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of a highlight right down the bridge of my nose right here. So now you can see a nice sharp nose feature. And I also want to add a little highlight above my eyebrows. And I like to blend it in with my fingers so it really looks like it's my skin glowing and it's not just highlight thrown on top. Lastly, we're going to add a little bit on our Cupid's bow and on our chin just for an overall glow. Now, one thing that I notice when I do my own makeup especially is that once I put my highlight on, sometimes my under eye circles look a little bit darker because they're not as highlighted. So I go back to my, where is that brush? This is the Morphe 529 brush again. And I'm going to go into Banana and a hint of Golden Peach from Anastasia's palette. And re-brighten just on the eye bags. And that usually helps me get a brighter, fresher look overall. And I also like to brighten the grooves right in here, just to give a nice straight effect on my nose. So at this point, anything that you want to blend or adjust, you can use the same brush to just kind of blend and adjust any areas that are just bothering you or not smooth enough. And now we are officially done with the face, and I'm going to show you how quick it's going to be to get our eyes done. Before I do the eyes, I want to do my eyebrows, get them out of the way. So I'm going to use my favorite thing, the Brow Wiz pencil in brunette, to fill in my eyebrows. So I'm going to go in right underneath here. I'm going to start off, I'm sure most of you saw my brow video. Oh my God, how amazing was that? I had 5 different models with different eyebrow issues, and we corrected all those issues for you guys live on one of my recent classes, and it was just such an amazing thing to see how their whole personality and face changed with these new amazingly balanced eyebrows. So I feel like eyebrows is such a big difference. So see how I'm kind of going a little high here on my arch, and then I go down with the tail. And now I'm going to go very lightly. See how I'm just lightly scribbling like a feather stroking, to create a little bit of a square. And I'm blending with the brush. This is Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. They have so many different colors, and they have so many different colors. And the coolest part is that it all has a brush at the end of it, so you can actually blend while you're applying. And I love to keep the arch and the tail nice and dark and everything else really light. So this is my finished brow. Look at the difference, my God. How crazy thin was this brow? Oh Lord. Okay, so now this side, we're basically gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go pretty dark with the arch. And drag down to the tail. And I like to thicken up little bits of it so it doesn't look like it's so high up on my forehead. I originally wanted to be my own brow model for the brow class, but because I was only going to choose 3 models for that class, but I ended up choosing 5, and I'm like, oh God, this can't be like a really long class, so I figured I would just show you my brows now. And now you guys believe me when I say I have horrible brows. But I guess the one good thing about not having a lot of brow is that you can literally change the shape whenever you want. So if there's days where I want to go really thick and days that I want to go really thin, I guess I can do that. Although thick is my preference. Okay. Another thing you can do is go in with a general brow brush and dip into a brow powder to fill in your brow You could use the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow powders to smooth out the ombre of your brow if you feel like that's something you want to do, but I usually don't. I usually just kind of stick with the Brow Wiz. So now I'm done with that. I can quickly show you the eyes, and the palette that we're going to use for the eyes is the Carly Bible palette from BH Cosmetics. It is one of my current favorites. This is what it looks like. This is the Carly Bible palette from BH Cosmetics. It's only $12.50. Can you believe it? And the pigment is really cool. So what we're going to use is my Morphe brush 441, and I'm going to dip into, I dipped into this one right here. This is, well, they don't have names. This is the second to darkest dusty kind of mauve color, and I'm going to use that right in my crease. And I just rolled it right around with my Morphe 441 brush. So I'm just rolling this dusty mauve right along the crease. So now you guys can see a little bit of a shadowing right in there. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with my MAC 239 brush, and I'm going to go in with this lightest color right here, which is a matte, kind of a creamy white. And I'm just going to like highlight my brow bone with this color and blend it down to the crease. So highlighting the brow bone, blending it down to the crease, just using my fingertips. Next thing I'm going to do is go back to the same brush that we used, and I'm going to use this light shimmery shade right here. It's like a peachy, kind of a peachy pink. And that's what I'll be using along my whole eyelid. Right along my whole eyelid right here. Giving it a nice smooth pull, and that is going to get that product to stick to your skin really well so it doesn't just dust all over the place, instead of tapping and patting where it's going to break up the pigment too much. You're not going to see that smooth shine, and it's going to end up falling out all over your face basically. So just kind of give it a little sliding and a pulling motion. I'm going to go back to my blending brush just to smooth out the area in between my lid and my crease. That transition should be really smooth. Next, I'm going to use that same brush with this lightest highlight color. This is a highlight and eyeshadow palette. So this highlight color right here works really well to highlight your cheekbones if you're light skinned, or highlight your tear duct, which I will be doing now. So I'm just going to use this to give me a nice pearly highlight right in my tear duct. And I'm bringing it into a little bit of the bottom of my tear duct as well, the bottom part. Okay, so now we have a little brightening right in the center of the face. If I want to blend anything under my eye or clean up any fallout, just use a brush to do that. Make sure you're not wiping it though, because that's going to be a little scary there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Morphe 433 brush, and I've dipped into this darkest color. This is like a dark maroon shade. A nice alternative is Sketch by MAC. And I'm going to just darken up this outer little corner of my eye, basically where my crease meets my lash line, but kind of spreading it out into a little point, giving it a little bit of a cat eye effect, but nothing too crazy because it's not a very dark color. It's just darker than the crease color that I already have on. So I'm now just doing that, shoving it right into that outer corner, giving it a nice fade. I'm using my fingers to clean up if I need to. And it really does give a beautiful, soft effect when you do it this way. Okay, so now you can see the gradient of color here. If there is anything that I want to adjust, I can always go back. Like if I want to re-brighten my lid, I can definitely do that. And now I'm ready for the eyeliner. So I'm going to go into a dark brown smoldering eye pencil by Galactic. I also managed to get a coupon code for you guys from Galactic. It is also DYF15. And this is the Galactic Beauty eyeliner in brown. It's one of my favorites because look at it. How creamy is that? It's so amazing, and before it sets, it's blendable, but then once it sets, it is set. Like it really works well for your waterline. It really works well as a smoky kind of a treat for your under eye. So I'm gonna go ahead and use it as a smoldering pencil, like a smoky pencil, and I'm gonna draw right along my waterline here. And I'm also going to get a little messy with it. I want to bleed it over the edge of my lash line. Okay, and now I'm just bringing it out a little bit, creating a little bit of a wing effect out here. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. Bleed it over the edge, bring it down and bring it up. Okay, now that I've done that, I can now blend using another favorite Morphe brush of mine. This is Morphe 168. Looks like this. It's amazing. It has a little stubby kind of a hair shape. And I'm dipping right into this maroonish color in the Carly Bible palette. And I'm just gonna set all this brown eyeliner and smoke it out with that maroon color to give it a little personality. Same on the other side. Now, I'm not afraid to go really thick under my eyes. I know that it looks good on me because I do have smaller eyes if I'm not wearing eye makeup. So I like to go really big and really dramatic with my eyeliner, especially on my bottom lid. But it's up to you guys how thick you guys want to go and how thick you're comfortable with. But I love going thick. Even on my clients and my brides, I think you guys have noticed how much I love going thick. So now I'm going to go into this color here, which is the one that I use in the crease. And I'm going to just go one level below that maroonish kind of a burgundy shade so that it basically goes from a really dark chocolate to that maroon to this dusty, dusty mauve color. And this is what softens up that whole blend for me and creates a very sultry effect. Again, anything that falls, please get rid of it right away, any dust that falls down. So now you guys can see how smoky and nice that looks. Next, I'm gonna go in with my favorite liquid liner right now, the Saleha Beauty Arabian Nights liquid liner. It's a felt tip pen, it's so easy to use. And it's very, very black, and I don't know, it's sharp. The felt tip is nice and sharp, so I can do a wing with it, and it's not very difficult as long as you get the hang of using a pen instead of a gel liner. So for those of you who like a liquid liner or a pen, definitely get this. Again, the website is salehabeauty.com, and I have a code, it's DYF15, so you guys can save extra money when purchasing anything on her website. So I'm gonna just go ahead and first of all, I'm wearing lash extensions. I can't wear mascara too much, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this pen to color over the fallout that landed on my lashes. So I'm just going in and literally covering up by just stroking on it, covering up any eyeshadow that fell on my lash hairs. That way I don't have to go on with too much mascara and potentially ruin my lash extensions. Again, for those of you who are new to Dress Your Face Live, if you guys have any questions, go on my latest post on Instagram. I'm going to show you which post that is. so that you can ask your questions there, and then after class I'll answer as many as I can before we are cut off. So this is the latest post. It is the one I posted just 52 minutes ago, and it's the one that says we're about to go live. So that's where you're going to ask all your comments below, and I can answer some of the most popular questions for you all. So again, I'm going in with my felt tip liner, and I'm covering up the fallout from my shimmering eyeshadow. And making sure my lashes are all spiked out nicely. That's why I love this felt tip pen. It doesn't bend. It's just really nice and firm for me to do all the things I need to do with my lashes as well as my eyeliner. Okay, so now that my lashes are kind of taken care of, I can go in and start actually drawing my eyeliner. Notice that I'm doing it flatly in a stamping kind of a motion, and then I can drag across. That way, I'm getting a little bit more control over my direction, where it's headed. And out here, I'm just gonna lightly go out into a pointed wing. I do love to use my nail to give it that extra edge. And I'm just gonna connect a little thicker until I meet with that point. You have to have a steady hand when you're working with the liquid liner. So if you do not have a steady hand, just remember, as you practice and as you do this more often, you will get better and better, and you can actually train your hands to get a little bit more steady over time and more comfortable. So now you guys can see this really cool wing action I have going on, and I'm gonna do the same on the other side here. Extend the wing. Connect. Always remember to connect really nice and thick so that it doesn't look like the wing is just floating out of nowhere. It has a nice graduated effect. Okay, now we have our second wing ready to go. And now the final little thing that just kind of brings everything together as far as the eyeshadow is concerned, you're gonna go with your Morphe 506 brush. This is a very tight tapered brush. And I'm gonna go back in with this dark kind of burgundy maroon color from the Carly Bible palette. And I'm just gonna connect my crease into the wing a little bit to give it some completion on the outer corner of my eyes. Another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a hint of black. This is the Noir from my palette, the Tamana palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Unfortunately, it is no longer available. It was just limited edition last year. Oh my God, no, not last year. Over a year ago. Holy moly! It was 2014. The winter of 2014. It was a holiday palette. I can't believe it's 2016, you guys. Every year just goes so fast. So yeah, it has been over a year since the palette has been sold out. And it's so funny because everyone I know has been using it so little. But the good news is, because of how much pigment is packed into here, you can literally have it for years and not run out because you don't need much product. I still have had mine since then. And it's doing well. So I'm just adding a little hint of that black right where that corner crease touches and meets my wing eyeliner. Right in there, just to give it that little point. I love doing that. I do that for all my brides too. All my brides who are okay with me using black on their big day, I do this because it really does finish that whole shaping so nicely and ends up looking beautiful in pictures. And now I can always go back to that previous brush that I used in the crease to just blend that upper edge. So now you guys can see how awesome the overall look is. Lastly, I'm just gonna add a little bit of mascara underneath since I'm allowed to. And the good news is with using a waterproof mascara, on the bottom part, you don't get that raccoon eye. It's not going to just bleed all over the place. So I highly recommend using a waterproof mascara for your upper and lower lashes, but if you really don't like the fact that it's so hard to remove, just use it on your lowers if you have an issue with that whole like bleeding thing. And then I always just kind of go back in with my little smudgy brush to remove any little dots of mascara that got on my skin. So now it's like perfect. Now I want to show you those lipsticks before we are done. I'm just going to make sure my lips are feeling dry, not wet. I'm going to start off with Soar, which is my all-time favorite lip liner. So I line my lips with Soar. And there's a color called Dusty Rose by Anastasia Beverly Hills. And let me find that here. It's basically the perfect bridal shade, and it's also a great color for every day. It's just one of those shades that I just can't get enough of. Let me just make sure it's with me here. This is Bam. And I do mix it with one of my favorite shades from Dose of Colors, which I'll show you. Oh, you know what? It's in my purse because I wear it like every day. Can you grab my purse right there? Sorry guys. This is proof that it's live. These are not pre-recorded classes. Thank you. I literally use those colors every day. Thank you, thank you. I think it should be here. Yep. And there it is. Thank you. So here is Dusty Rose by Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is a liquid lipstick. And then this is Sand by Dose of Colors, which is my other favorite liquid lipstick. I carry like literally 8 lipsticks in my purse at all times, just in case. And they all look exactly the same. They're all either a dusty rose color or a nude color. So sad. But they're like slightly different. Do you guys have my problem? I can't stop myself. So this is Dusty Rose by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm just gonna get a nice thin layer throughout my lips. I'm gonna wait for that to dry and set. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of sand right over it. Again, if you guys think of any questions, write them on my latest post on Instagram so I can answer them during the Q&A. You know what I'm really excited for is after class, Glory of Henna, her name is Dipali, she's here in the studio. And she is gonna do my henna, and then I can show you guys on Snapchat the step-by-step of all that. She's my model for my dark circle classes coming up, and that's where I'm going to show you how to really correct the skin, all over the skin, but mainly the dark circles is the theme of the class. So anyway, Dose of Color Sand, right in the center. See the ombre, and now I'm just going to tap with my fingertips to blend. And it ends up being this beautiful lighter gradient of a nude pink in the center going off into this dusty rose color, which is just, I mean, breathtaking for a bride or for yourself if you just want to look polished. And look how romantic this looks. Like overall, Oh, by the way, these are my extensions, my ombre extensions. They're back in stock, by the way. They sold out so fast, and I'm so happy that they're back in stock. BombayHair.com, the heaviest, thickest, best priced per ounce, hair extensions. Straight up. Love it. Okay, so now I'm gonna pose for you guys again so you can get the full effect of how soft and sultry and romantic and vintagey this look is for Valentine's Day. So here we go. You guys can get your screenshots in. This is so awkward and weird, but it's okay. I'm used to it now. So as you can see, the gradient on my eyes really are shown off more with this strong wing. And I didn't go too high with the wing. I went pretty straight in. And I had that black just kind of point right into my eyes in the corner to create a full enclosure at the end. And the highlight, of course, you can see the blush right in here, how soft the pink goes. The highlight looks really soft. Everything is matte except for the shimmer, of course. The shimmer highlight that I used from Soleha Beauty, that's only used here and down the T-zone, and it ends up just getting a little bit of that shiny effect without going too dewy. One of the reasons why I don't like a very dewy look is because it doesn't last very long. There's not enough powder being used, and therefore, when you're hugging your boyfriend, your face ends up on his shirt. Not very fun to wash that. So I prefer staying matte, trying to be as non-transferable as possible. Why don't I put you guys on my Snapchat for a second, because I think my Snap family needs a little loving right now. So we're gonna snap. Hey Snapchat, we are live. You can say hi to the camera. Hi. And we're done with the Valentine's Day look. So here's the Valentine's Day look, you guys. I hope you guys liked this class. I love this look. It's actually one of my absolute favorites. And again, I want you guys to go ahead and ask me your questions on Instagram now, and I will answer some of them. We have about 13 minutes to answer as many questions as I can until 7:15, and then we will sign off and say bye, and you guys practice, practice, practice. What I want you guys to do, remember, I want you guys to copy that whole face chart that I did, the contour, highlight, and heart blushes, the whole heart theme. You could do your own version of it, or you can do the exact recreation of what I did, and I want you guys to enter my contest. So hashtag Dress Your Face Live, and hashtag heart contour, and hashtag DYFL Army. Make sure all three hashtags are together on your post, so I know that this is a contest entry and not just something on that hashtag. And I'll go through it and make sure that I can support you on my page. What I do require is that you are an active member of DressYourFaceLive.com in order for me to repost it, a part of this contest. So what you should also do is definitely post a screenshot of today's class, just to prove that you are a current member, and then you can post your version of this, the contour look, and then I'll know for a fact that you're in and you're good, and I can post you and blast you all over the internet and get you guys some more followers and some more love from my followers. So it's a great, great opportunity to get your stuff showcased, and it's just fun. Even if you're not a makeup artist, it's really fun to be able to share your love with the world. So I'm gonna go in and start answering some questions now, you guys. I'm gonna start off with some of the earlier questions, and then I'm gonna kind of just scroll through here. And okay. Okay, so Jonna Puga is asking, what foundation is best for a humid subtropical climate? I have oily combo skin. I haven't been able to find one that lasts throughout the day. Definitely try Lancome Tint Idole 24 Hour. That is one of my absolute favorites for clients who have very oily skin in humid climates. So check that out. They do offer 10-day trial samples of products. So if you're not 100% convinced yet, get a sample, try it out and see how you like it, and then go buy it if you love it, because it's really amazing. Lancome has great foundations, and I'm really impressed with their foundation range. Okay, let's see. Da, 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 da. Okay, I'm getting a lot of comments about the video keeping that keeps freezing. It's because of your internet connection. Everything is very high speed on our end and ready to go, but make sure your internet connection is great. But that's one of the reasons why we always record the classes so you guys can watch it in perfect HD later on once you are ready to kind of just sit down and watch it. And you can watch it as many times as you want for 30 days. I love that we extended it. It used to be only 2 days. I used to only have 48 hours you'd have to catch up on your class if you miss it. But now, then I changed it to like a week, and now it's a whole month. So you guys are fine. You're golden. Oh my gosh, you guys are so funny. Pinked373 is like, I can't believe you're actually using a beauty blender. You guys know me so well. I never use it. But it just works so well when you have 3 different colors on your face instead of, you know, when it's just like the highlight and then the contour, it's easy with the blush. But when there's also a middle color in there and you want to be a little bit more precise, I kind of did like the beauty blender for that purpose instead of switching through big brushes and small brushes. Just using one beauty blender did help me. But again, I don't like using it on clients because it's such a pain to clean. I would probably just use it on myself and that's it. Okay, Freedom to be Free is asking, I use NC42 for under eyes, but they end up looking too dark, and then if I highlight them, they end up looking gray. What am I doing wrong? So try mixing NC42 with a slightly lighter color, like NW25 or NC25, just a hint of it, or NC30 or something like that. Just a hint of the lighter color, but mainly NC42. I love colors that have more orange in it. That ends up brightening the under eyes really a lot better than using anything that's too pale or too ashy. That will get rid of the gray tones too. But definitely tune in to my dark circle class that's coming up next, because that I'm going to be talking primarily just on correction and making sure your skin isn't looking gray. Okay, so okay, what is, how do I say, Manshanatani, hoping I'm saying it right, is saying there are setting sprays that are out there that claim to stay on for 16 hours and they do work, but would you still suggest not to use anything that will wet your makeup? If so, why? I'm normally not a fan of using sprays only because I just don't want my makeup to get wet. And I know that a lot of misters are very nice and soft and it won't really wet your makeup, and it actually kind of claims to create a shield over your makeup. But the way I do makeup is really, really long lasting already, that I don't really need anything to make it even more long lasting and therefore a little bit harder to take off at the end of the day. I just prefer not to ever use a spray. But for clients that are really, really oily or have very overly productive sweat glands or in very humid conditions, that's when I would use a long wear spray like that, just to make sure that we're extra protected. Okay. Okay, makeup_dark is asking if you're using a cream shimmer highlighter and a cream blush, do you still need to do the big highlight triangles under the eyes, or just keep it to the dark circles under the eyes? Yeah, if you're using a cream shimmer highlight and a blush cream, you don't need to do the full triangle, just focus on the under eye bags, which is what I did. I ended up not doing a full triangle of highlight today. I ended up just doing my bag because I wanted to save these areas for the blush and the contouring. Okay, Makeup by Dr. Miriam is asking if someone has one big eye and one small eye, how can we make them look the same? And please give a hair tutorial for Indian bridal updo with Tika setting. I will try my best to do that, but that takes so long and I don't know if I can fit it into one class, but that will definitely be a part of my certification, which is coming out this year, finally, my online certification, so hang tight with those. But as far as equaling out the eyes, I've had a bride that had one larger eye and one smaller eye. We ended up doing a smoky eye for both of her eyes, but what I did was a 3D smoke. So that smaller eye, I ended up making that 3D part, that shiny part, go a little higher, so it made her eyelid look bigger. And then for the bigger eye, I made that 3D shiny part a little bit lower so that her eyes look more closed in that eye. But everything else pretty much remained the same. Also with the eyeliner, I went a little bit more out with the smaller eye, and I kept it a little bit more tight with the larger eye, just so that the shape of the eye and the eyelash is kind of balanced out as well. I can answer a few more questions here. Let me go down a little bit. Okay, Marvy87, what is your favorite brush to use for eyeliner, and how can you perfect a shaky hand and shaky eyes like someone if they keep blinking? So if someone keeps blinking, what I would recommend really is them to just close their eyes completely and lift up their eyelid, and tell them to keep their eyes closed while you're lifting. So basically what's going to happen is you're going to lift up like this, and the eyes are going to stay closed. And then when you do their eyeliner and stuff, it's going to end up not shaking because you're literally holding them down. As far as your own hand, you just have to keep doing it over and over. The more you actually do your work and do your eyelining and focus on keeping yourself in check, you're going to train your hand to get better and better. If your hands are very shaky due to medication, that's completely different. There's not a whole lot you can do to get rid of the shakiness due to medication, unless you were just to plow through it and find another way to get things done. But honestly, if your hands are just shaky in general, you can get better and better just with practice. What else? Let's see. Oh, my favorite eyeliner brush is, well, I have a lot of favorite eyeliner brushes actually. I like an angled brush. I use the, let me show you actually what it looks like. It is from MAC. It's the 263 angled brush. Very tight, very sharp. And I like that for my angled brushes. And for my straight brushes, I don't have it with me today, so I'm not really sure. Oh, maybe I do. Let me look for it real quick. If I have it, I can let you know what it is. Oh, okay. So Sigma Winged Liner Brush, number E06 is an amazing brush. It's pretty little. It has a little angle to it, and it has a sharp tip, and that really works well too. So try those and see how you like it. Rebecca Abigail 75 is asking, how do you keep eyeliner from smearing under the lash line and the waterline when people have very watery eyes? Okay, so for watery eyes, you want to use an eyeliner that is very hard to remove, first of all, such as the gel eyeliner from Inglot. It's called the AMC gel liner. They have different colors. My favorite is the black, which is super dark black, number 77. That eyeliner is literally almost impossible to remove. It sticks on so well, and it's so dark and so ridiculous. And so when I put that on my clients, I also set it with black eyeshadows, such as the Noir from Anastasia Beverly Hills, my Itmana palette, but she sells it by itself as well. Noir is the blackest black I've ever used, and when you set that over a black eyeliner, it literally, like, your bride can cry for days and it's not going to kick off. I have showered in it, tried to rub my face, and it does not come off. I actually, the only way to get it off is with a really good makeup remover towelette, or and something that claims to remove waterproof makeup, or the Lancome Bifacel eye makeup remover removes it really well. But it is messy when you're removing it, but honestly, up until that moment that you remove it, it stays on really amazing. Just remember to set it with more eyeshadow so it doesn't move around.